All right, and welcome to another session on the GBPUSD Forecast. Yes, I know it's been a while since I posted. I think 2 months, if I'm not mistaken, because the last time I posted video content was in March. Yeah, the reason why I went quiet all this while was because of a number of things, right? The first and foremost was with family. I had to deal with some things. And then, I did not take a break from trading, even though, I have that rule about my psychology be on top form before I trade. And that led to, just to summarize everything, that led to a 3% loss in my account. And, that carried on till April, to the last, 2 weeks in April. And that was when I recovered the 3% and then made some more profit. So, yeah, in a nutshell, that has been my 2 months, how it's gone for me since I stopped posting. And I want to resume from this new month, and this, we are going to go all out with it, and hopefully we can be posting content every week, every now and then, and that's going to be great. So February was awesome, right? I made 10% on my account in February, and then in March, that was when my woes began. I first hit 1% loss, and then another percent loss again, still in March. In April, because I had lost 2%, I decided to reduce my risk, and I hit a 0.5% loss and another 0.5% loss still in April. So in total, that was 3% loss. So that brought my profit, my P&L statement down to plus 7%. And even though I was still up, I mean, on my account, emotionally I was down because that wasn't supposed to happen. All of those trades that led to a loss were not supposed to happen. So yeah, that really got me down. Aside my family, the family things I had to deal with, yes, but thankfully I was able to recover the loss and made a plus 5% just before April ended, which was this past week. And I'm so grateful to God for that. And, at least that has, given me back a boost in morale, right? Through all of this, right? My main capital has not been affected. It was just the profit that was affected. So now my account is up by 12%, right? Instead of, it should have been 15%, but hey, we'll just take it as it is. So hopefully in this month, we can push forward and hit those profits. Let's get this. All right. Now, when we take a look at a chart, right, for GBPUSD, what do we see on the weekly time frame, right? First things first, let's mark out the structure that we see, okay? We can see what a bullish structure. The trend has changed, right? We have started, taking out highs, and if we look over here, this was the initial break of structure over here. I still have that problem with my straight lines. Anyways, the initial break of structure, and then we pushed higher, right? Even though we took out this low, right, you realize that price was closed above the low. We did not close below it. So hence we had this move up, taking out these highs, right? And now we are reaching this area. This area is likely to be, taking out this high. Liquidity is is going to be run at this highs, filling what this imbalance over here, and potentially tapping into this area where we have what these volume signatures. Now let's get to it. On the weekly time frame, that is my bias. We are going to still what push higher, taking out a high, filling this imbalance, tapping into here, and then possibly we might see what a consolidation to push back, come down, fill some imbalance, take out some internal liquidity, and either push higher or still do that, come back, mitigate some orders, and then drop, right? But for all of that consolidation after these highs are taken out, I do not know how long it's going to take. I do not know where it's going to turn out. All I do know is that this is my target, and we possibly might fill out this imbalance. Until price does that, I'm just going to stick with this. I'm not going to just speculate that far. Okay, so on the weekly time frame, we do have this low, right? And then we hit this high. We also came, let's do this low. Now we are where at this high. Okay, so what is the range? This was the last low, right? And if we should look at it, we also have this high as our last high. Okay, where was the last break of structure? Our last break of structure was here. Okay, just here. If we mark it out as a break of structure, we realize our price closed above it, no longer the wicks, right? And the possibility for price to reach above this high is very, very high, right? Because we now have the candle closing above this break of structure. Okay, so let us write out our notes. Now, if we should move over to the daily time frame, right? What we'll see is that let's hide the weekly time frame analysis so that we can have a better view in the daily time frame. Okay, so on the daily time frame, what do we have? Right, we have this weekly structure here moving higher, right? And then we have this change of character that took out this low, and then we pushed higher, right? We dropped, taking out this low again, and then we now pushed higher. Okay, and we have taken out this high. So those are the structures that we do have, right? So I'm going to start marking the structure from here because this was the last stop hunt before we pushed higher to take out this high. If you realize over here, this consolidation was throughout April, right? Tuesday, 4th of April, we consolidated throughout, but there were some good trades in there. All right, so on daily time frame, if we should zoom in closely, we will be able to see the structure. Okay, so this is the trend or the market structure for the daily time frame. So if we should just give it a different color so that we are not mixing them up with the weekly time frame trend. Okay, all right, so where was the last low, where was the last high? We have this low, and then we have this is the last high. Okay, so given our structure, our weekly time frame analysis, the targets, we have this target over here, right? 1.266.84, right? Over here we are targeting this high, possibly filling this imbalance. Okay, so we take this out. Let's just mark the target so that we know what we are dealing with. So in this new week, price will open over here, right? Possibly drop to maybe 50% of this imbalance here, right, before we push higher. Okay, taking out the target. Okay, just because we are bullish. All right, so that is my bias. But then there's a possibility where price opens here and then just pushes higher. Okay, and takes out the target. Okay, so we will just mark this out also. All right, so on the 1 hour time frame, right, because we are not position or swing traders, we tend to trade. I tend to trade on the minutes time frame, right? Even though I get my bias from the higher time frame, daily, weekly, and possibly the 4 hour time frame, I take my entries on the minute time frame so that I can get in at a very discounted price if I'm looking for a buy, or a very premium price if I'm looking for a sell. All right, so on the 1 hour time frame, we have this consolidation over here, where we now break out of this high, right? So this break of structure here, right, with massive volume into this price level, and we have price moving down. We'll see how it's like on the 15 minutes time frame. So this was the last break of structure. Okay, and if we should look at the range prices in, we have that low, and then this high over here. Okay, so what's the next thing? Where is price possibly likely to possibly unlikely anyways, where is price likely to move down to before we move higher? If you look closely, we have this imbalance over here. Okay, and price is likely to either completely fill it or just move down 50% of this imbalance before we continue higher. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking for price to do. But I have to state that even though I am bullish, right, on GBPUSD, on GU, there are gonna be some sells, right? You don't necessarily have to always look for buys because the main bias is bullish, right? You might be able to get some good sells in there. All right, so I might look for a sell here. We possibly might open stop hunt some orders and drop before we move higher, or we just open sell, move higher, or the third possibility is that we open and then move higher. Okay, but since price is at a premium level, I'll be expecting price to drop to equilibrium or discount before we push higher. All right, so let's move on to the 15 minutes time frame and let's see things a little clearly. All right, so as you can see, the gap has closed, right? The 1 hour time frame, where was the last imbalance? The imbalance was here, but if we should move on to the 15 minutes time frame, so you can see there's something just here. Okay, so price is just likely to tap in here before we move higher. Okay, but if price wants to do a deeper retracement, I think price might reach here before we move higher, and that would be ideal to snag a buy, but price might just buy from here. All right, so what is my expectation on the 15 minutes time frame? Remember that we have this break of structure here, right, where price closed above that high, where we looked at on the daily time frame. So my expectation would be for price to actually move down to a discount to equilibrium level before we push higher, right? And there are two scenarios of that and how they're going to play out. So if price should open, right, and then move higher, right, but then doesn't take out this high, just stop hunt some highs or mitigate some orders, price might do a deeper retracement into either this area or down here, right? That's to fill the 1 hour imbalance here, right, before we push higher. Okay, this is one possibility, which probably might be unlikely. That's just my opinion. Or if price opens and then just pushes down, we might have what price reaching here before we push higher, right, to move toward the weekly target. All right, the third scenario I will be looking at, just because sometimes GBPUSD plays out in this way, right? They will open, let me not even use the expectation, I mean the trend 2 or the path 2. So we might open over here, right, just drop, right, inducing sellers, push back higher, take out all of them, and then drop again, right, doing what, filling this imbalance completely before we move higher, right? That is sometimes the way they move, right? They just love to manipulate people out with their trades. So yeah, we should watch out for that move also. Anyways, remember that this is the first week in May, and we will be seeing some high impact news. We have NFP on Friday, and aside that, there are some other high impact news, okay, especially on the USD. So just be careful in this first week.